Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Let me put the microphone together. So we start again. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Where did I hear that before? Just a second ago, I guess. Deja vu. So Aaron is here. Says hi, Aaron. Hello, Aaron. Age, gender, where you guys tuning in from? Don't forget ATT3MPT. Hmm? Sounds like a program. Where'd you get that name? It says hello, hello there. First time you're here, right? Age, gender, where you're tuning in from. That tells me a little bit about you, as little as I actually need. I mean, a little bit more than nothing. There we go. There. Now we can have some tea in Maui. There you go. See, my my cup is a magic cup. Takes me to Maui right away. Hmm. So it's exciting today because we're one day away from our beloved brave truckers start moving from Vancouver to Ottawa and expressing their peaceful um, request that we, the people, wish that all these tyrannic rules and regulations and all that to be demolished and we reclaim our freedom, which we never abandoned it, but it was forcefully taken away, limited. So it is exciting to see how that goes. And if the government will be wise enough to listen to the people who hired them. Otherwise, we will fire them and and legally ask them to leave office. That's the plan. We Canadians own our freedom, not what we employ to run the country. So let's hope government will have the wisdom to listen to the will of the people and stop limiting what's our right and protected in the Charter of Right of Canada. Our freedom of speech, sovereignty on our bodies, and we decide how to raise our children and what they should be exposed to or not, what medicine they get or not. All right. Having said that, we have Aaron, 19, male from England. Hello there. What are you doing up so late? Is it not late? Oh, it's not. It's like about, what, 11 o'clock? And Beetlejuice, male, 19, Norway, says, hello, Meran. How are you doing? Thank you very much, Beetlejuice. Aaron says, how has your day been, Meran? Well, we're okay. A little bit excited to see how well how our truckers will be received in what they want to accomplish peacefully and legally. And we like to see our government to show that they work for us, not some fictitious or unknown entities that have caused them to limit our freedom and turn the country into something that we don't identify with. So hopefully we'll get Canadian way back. And otherwise, it's a sunny day. I'm looking forward to do my live stream. Then I'll go to workout and get some training going. And if there's still time and not too dark, I'll go for a walk, or I'll go for a walk by the beach late, late tonight. So that's my day. Masood, male 68 Toronto, says hello, hello there. Thank you for that. And ATT3MPT, by the time I finish pronouncing your screen name, the hour is over. This is 22 male California. Cali. All right. Masood says 7. What does 7 means, Masood? 67? And Sabrina Jurgensen says, hi from Denmark. Hello, Denmark. I have good memories from Denmark. First of all, every time I pass through the airport, most beautiful woman in the airport just drove me insane. Secondly, when I was a child, we used to travel every summer with my mom and my brother to Europe. And on this trip, we were in Denmark, and it was a big park that my brother and I was, I don't know, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 5-year-old. And so we start playing in the park, and there were 2 roads in the park. One was going up a ramp, one was going straight. I went up the ramp, and I got lost. So I didn't know I was lost, but obviously my mother knew. So she had told all the guards on the doors, and the guards had told each other. So I just know that some guard stopped me when I was trying to leave the park, helped me, and so I found. So it was fun. And then, of course, there's playgrounds. I remember we played, and there were stands for fruits, and my mom bought some strawberries. We had a friend locally we met in the park, in the playground. So she gave us all strawberries, and it was a good day. I just remember from 5-year-old. In Denmark, special place. And was it Denmark? Was it Holland? Either way, might have been Holland, Says, I was on my way to bed when I saw that you were live. I just came by your channel today, so I'm new here. Oh, did you now, Sabrina? Welcome. Welcome. How do I say welcome in Danish? And thank you for joining us. Masood says, how to handle a woman much younger. You don't, they handle you. So shut up. Just go count your blessing and do whatever they want. It's an easy way. Just do whatever they want. Because don't be picky. Sabrina says, Velkommen. Velkommen. Okay. Velkommen, Sabrina. And Zeljko, I guess today is the pronunciation, the Zeljko Bilic, just gives me a smile without telling me. It just says good vibes, all right? What else do we have? Beetlejuice's here is like -6 degrees Celsius in freezing. Come on, -6 is not that bad. A few weeks ago it was -11, and I was 11 o'clock on the beach doing my 10-kilometer walk. You're from Norway. You're not a sissy. You're a cold person, aren't you? Iceman. We are Icemen. Canada, Norway, all these. We're used to cold, aren't we? In fact, I function much better in cold than heat. If it's like tennis, if it's soccer, if it's weightlifting, whatever it is, workout. Only equestrian, I didn't want it to be cold because the horse would not be, and then slippery. So it's always that Summer is good. Masood says a few nights ago, we had minus 25. Ooh, minus 25. I remember when I used to go skiing in Whistler years ago, it was minus 32. And in town, where I am right now, same place, would go up to minus 17, minus 20 something. No problem. Every winter. But it's been long years since we've ever seen minus anything, let alone, I mean, minus 11, let alone minus 22 or something. Beetlejuice says, where in Canada are you, Maron? I'm in Vancouver, West Vancouver, British Columbia, West Coast. Aman says, I feel ashamed and ruined mood if somebody, especially girls, show me I am lame and anything as a loser. It mess bad with my mood. Well, it's because you can't stop people from saying or doing whatever it is that they're saying or doing. But you are in control of your emotions as much as you could be. So it's on you if you feel ashamed for something that it's reflected on them. You're not responsible for what they think or what they say. So why should you feel that you have to measure your worth and value by the opinion of other people? Well, that would mean you'll be like a lawyer because somebody might think high of you, somebody low of you, somebody middle, somebody. So you're going up and down depending on what other people think. You got to know who you are, and what your standards are, and you comply with it, and not what kind of person you are. You're a decent person. You're meeting your objectives. You're meeting your standards. You're being, good to people and whatever. Then it doesn't matter what their opinion is about you. What matters is what the actual standards of you is that you have selected for yourself to comply. And then if you're meeting those goals, that's all. So if you think there's something that you need to maybe modify in yourself, you like to see yourself in a different way that it wouldn't reflect in any way, shape, or form that they could make some kind of a derogatory comment, then make those changes. But if you think they're just full of shit and it's irrelevant what they say and it's just not true, then don't worry about it. Aman, a girl said something to you in the chat room and you're upside down because a girl who died and left her in charge to be the standards of what you should be or what any guy should be or not to be. People have different opinions. Maybe she likes something else. It's not you. Okay, fine. But that doesn't set the tone for who you are or if you're good or bad or shortcomings or whatnot. You shouldn't pay attention to all these nonsense. People are different. They're entitled to their opinion, but that doesn't mean it should affect you the way you're being affected. Hear from one ear and out from the other. You can't have everybody appreciate you, like you, affirm you. Who gives a shit? Move on. And Zelchko says, Mehran, is it all about looks today in dating life? No, definitely not about men. How many times have you seen a drop dead gorgeous girl is going out with some guy who doesn't look like Brad Pitt or doesn't look like Sean Connery or doesn't look like anything, just out of shape and many other things that it would not be considered fit or whatnot? Because the girls do not choose their mate only based on looks. They're more sophisticated than us. We men are very visual. We see them all dude up in high heels and fit body. We're done. We think they're qualified, which leads to later on finding out, oh, they were not, because we only focus on the outer skin. We only focused on the um, attributes and aesthetics and physical fitness. Uh, but that's not where the relationship takes place. Relationship takes place in the consciousness when the two consciousnesses are bonding on that level. And the attraction, for one way or another, is an opportunity to get to know each other's conditioning in the consciousness. And if that conditioning in the consciousness is compatible and you guys can find things in common, then the relationship can take hold. Otherwise, when the initial excitement of sensuality, sexuality, and intimacy is over, then there's nothing else that can hold this together, because that part, the sexual part, eventually it becomes not as exciting as it was in day one or month one or first quarter. No matter how beautiful she is or how handsome the two couple are, eventually that part is going to be irrelevant in the longevity of the relationship, because they never got to know each other, what makes them tick. We are programmed to pay attention to girls and love to be with them, and we're programmed for procreation. So that's not a credit to them, and it's not in our control. We're drawn to that sexuality for intimacy. But that's not what the relationship can hold. That's only for procreation. If you want to have a relationship, you got to see if you can bond unconsciousness level. That's the window of opportunity that is created when you two are attracted to each other. If you can't make a connection on consciousness level during that time that you're excited about each other's physicality more than you will be in later on, then the relationship will break down, because that's where the relationships takes place or breaks down, in here. So it's not all about body. It's partly yes, more so for the guys towards the girls and less from the girls toward the guys. Of course, they like to see their man fit and take care of himself, but it is not detrimental. They're more interested in how you treat them, how you make them feel, how you make them feel important, and how you provide, and you can attend to their psychological and physical needs, but mostly psychological needs, especially for the comfort of a lifestyle. That's very important for them, which brings them security. So it's a different standards that they have. So you have more chances of finding a very nice girl or beautiful girl or whatnot than you think, if you have the proper interaction skills, proper ability to provide and to be a good person, and so on and so forth. So your character is more important to the girls than your looks. But at the outset, the looks is more important than the character to us. But later on, we appreciate that it's their character and what's conditioning they've received in their consciousness is that what we will be attracted to or cease to be attracted to. Beta juices, do you think exposure and response prevention can help with OCD? Yeah, sure it does. It's the gold standard of treatment for OCD and substance of OCD. This is because I find myself using ERP exercise as compulsion, so it just ruins the sole purpose of ERP. No. No, if you do it right, but you should do ERP under the supervision of your psychologist or psychiatrist who is expert in OCD. Not any psychologist knows about OCD and proper ERP and so on and so forth. So you got to pay attention to that. Aman, you like a girl, you want to talk to her, go talk to her. You can try as many opportunities you can get. Nothing happens if they reject you. Nothing. You're a man. You're supposed to get used to being rejected. That's what we are. We get rejected. That's fine. But if you don't try, you'll never know if they like you or not. But be subtle, be classy. Don't go out there as if if you have to ask and the answer, would sit, you gotta, it's a, you gotta, you gotta know the art rather than just thinking that it's like somebody somebody goes out and says, wants to, I don't know, sell something and just goes right to the client and says, "Hey, you want to buy something?" Gotta talk about the product. A nice day. It's wonderful. It would be lovely to enjoy this day. The smell of these flowers. In fact, I've got this um, candy that smells like the fresh flower that we're smelling right now. Check this out. And the taste is fabulous. It's amazing. Just have one. Then maybe the person was, "Oh, that's nice. So, yeah, here's a box I have, by the way." And then she says, "Oh, no, it's okay." So, "Well, it's okay. I can order it for you." Anyhow, you gotta have a, story. You can't just go say, "Hey, you want to go out with me?" He says, "No, fuck off." All right. Zel Zelchko says, "How you explain that 80% of women on Tinder swipe only for top 15% of men?" I really don't explain anything because I don't know. I've never been on Tinder. I don't know how it works. And so they're looking for something. You see, when women are choosing someone that they don't know, they're choosing it based on maybe looks or based on what standards they hold or what some things that they say in the profile. But it's not as real as when they actually get to know each other. Then they can see how they react in the actual world, negotiate daily lives and situations if they're having coffee or walking or talking. In the real settings, they will get to know each other, not just by swiping right or left or whatever. Maybe they swipe right or left, but maybe they won't hit it off on consciousness level. Then that's not going to go anywhere. When women tell you what kind of a guy they're looking for, you may get discouraged, but that's not really what they mean. They're trying to tell you how high echelon they are by upping their expectations in their conversations with you about what kind of man they like. They're not really telling you you're not that man or they don't want you because you don't have these things. They're trying to increase their worth and value by creating certain standards that you would see them as a person who's looking for that kind of a quality, which could increase their values in your eyes. That's what they're doing. They don't necessarily are going to be looking for that or think that they will find that what they're looking for, but they're just saying it as the way to increase their worth of value in your eyes because they're introducing themselves to you by telling you what they're looking for. It's like if somebody asks you what kind of a horse you want to buy or what kind of a car you like, you might say, "Well, I like a Bugatti with this and that, so forth." It's not like that you really can afford it or you're just saying that in order to show the other person how much you know about the quality of car, which increases your kind of standards or standing in the eyes of your friend. But you can't get Bugatti, for example. So anyhow, so don't be discouraged when the girls start telling you about the standards that they're looking for, I don't know, life or this and that. So I wanted this thing, and I want to travel, and I want to, this kind of a boyfriend, and I want that kind of a car and that kind of a house, and I want to live here. It doesn't mean that, oh, because of all that and I don't have that, then I don't qualify, I should go away. No, they're just trying to tell her what kind of echelon she possesses. Yeah, that's it. So you just hear it from one ear and just be the nice person that you are and continue interactions. And that's pretty much what you're supposed to do rather than being discouraged. You see, Beetlejuice, when you're doing all these ERP, first of all, you got to do it with specialists. And the purpose of exposure is not that you will be accepting that is what you like. It's not that. it's it's trying to let yourself that I allow everything to exist and it's irrelevant to me. Just because they exist doesn't mean I should or should not be thinking about it or judging it. They can be there. You're trying to get that to be one of the things that exist and accept their existence versus thinking that because I accept their existence, that means I accept that I like it. No, that's not the idea. The idea is that you get used to the fact that these things can exist and they don't freak me out because I have my standards and my values and I roll in life with my vetoes and choices. But I'm not going to be defensive and insulted or freaked out when I see something that is not in line with my values. I learn to allow things to exist. Someone wants to be homosexual, it's accepted that they're homosexual and they live their lives the way they like. Someone is heterosexual, it's accepted to be heterosexual and live their life. Someone, whoever, whatever they want to do, it's irrelevant to me. What's relevant to me is what I am, what my values are, what's interesting to me, and I accept and allow anything else that is not interesting to you or not in line with my values also to exist. And they won't become something that I have to defend myself or be freaked out about them or think that they shouldn't exist so I can exist. They're not a threat. You're letting yourself know that the existence of other things that is not in line with your values are not a threat to you. That's pretty much it. You allow existence of everything without having to react to it in any shape or form. You only are focusing on your life, your lifestyle, what's meaningful to you, what's in line with your values. And you also understand that everything else in this world exists and you don't need to be considering their existence to be of any threat to you. So that's basically what you're doing. You're accepting the existence of everything. So you got to do that with someone who knows the procedure of it so you have the right frame of mind rather than, oh, I saw this now, I got to assure myself that I'm not interested. It doesn't matter. There's no judgment here. It's the fact that everything can exist and you know what you're interested, what you're not interested. You don't have to prove it to your brain. You don't have to prove it to yourself. You don't have to prove it to anything. You just allow everything to live and you just choose or veto whatever is not in line or is with your values. That's all. Nirvana says, hi, Mehran. How do you deal with the breakup of an abusive relationship mentally, emotionally, physically, while depressed and isolated. Well, these are a very codish, like you're speaking code. I need to know the exact, why, what has happened that is emotional, abusive, physically abusive. What, you got a girlfriend beat the crap out of you? You're physically abusive? What do you mean? And, 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 Nirvana, don't forget, did you tell me about your credentials that we're looking for that helps me to remember who is who? Age, gender, where you're tuning in from? All right. Again, the breakup, when you are having a hard time to move on or deal with the breakup, it's not about the person necessarily. There's some part is about the person that you broke up with, but it's mostly about the psychological security and the security that your mind, the standards and circumstances that your mind finds security in it, and that is in the order of your life. When you were in a relationship, there were certain things that you were doing together and individually, but collectively it was your mechanical process, the things that you were doing during the day. And many of it would involve both of you, many of them it was singular, individually, but altogether it had created a routine of things, and those routines were the order of your life. In that order, your mind finds security. Mind finds its security differently than your body finds security. Your body finds security in safe environment. Your mind doesn't care about the environment. The environment is not going to help it to be secure. It's looking for order of life to find security in it, and many other things. But at this juncture of our discussion, that's what I want to point out to. And so, therefore, when you break up, you can't follow the same mechanical processes that you always continued. Getting up in the morning, texting each other, or if you're living together, have your tea or coffee together, you go to your businesses, to your work or to your school, and then you meet again for a date or for pizza or for workout or cinema or whatever it is, that these things had created a certain routine of your life, the order of life. And now that she's not with you, that order is broken. You cannot create that same harmony and sequence of events, the routine. And because that's where your mind finds security, in the routine of things, and that routine doesn't exist anymore because you broke up, then you are not comfortable. And that's why you keep going into the memory, because in the memory, that routine is recorded. It still exists. So you go in the memory and you find that routine, how things used to be, and you find an order, and the mind finds security. And while you're there, you see her. And when you see her, the prerequisites for desire to be born is also recorded in a file. That will be triggered. That prerequisites will replenish itself. It's already recorded. So to your brain seems like it's been redone. And then desire is reborn at that moment that you're in the memory, looking for security through the order that is recorded in your memory. And when the desire is born, you miss her. And it's, oh, how can I move on? I miss her. You're constant. So you don't really miss her only, you miss the order. And then when you're in the memory, you see her, then the desire, prerequisite for desire is reborn, and the desire is reborn, then you miss her. So you got to find new things that you're interested to do, create new mechanical processes during the day, new routines, and from new routines, new order, and the mind finds security in this new order and no longer goes into the memory and doesn't meet her there, and then the rest of it won't take place either, and you will have an easier time to move on. In a nutshell. And we have Beetlejuices. Sometimes it gets so bad that it overpowers my values and I just completely forgot who I am. It feels like an identity loss. Yeah, because you're trying to get affirmation and permission from your brain to be who you've always been, who you are, what your preferences are. Because somehow you've been duped to think the brain is yours. Brain is you, and you're the brain. So whatever brain says, you're trying to comply, either argue with it or eventually, because it's so powerful, it makes your body to react to the thoughts, and that reaction becomes an evidence for you that the brain is right. No, brain is powerful, makes the body react, but the reaction of the body is not an evidence that the conjuring up nonsense that the brain is doing is actually any factuality to it. So um, so when you focus on the fact that you are not the brain, brain is not you, then you understand that you're the awareness, you're the intellect, and brain is not the intellect. Brain is a machine, is an organ. Its job is to make thoughts, and it makes thoughts. That's all it does. And you think that it has any cleverness or any intellect, and these thoughts are based on intellect. No, these thoughts are based on the reaction to the danger signals they're sending by overactive amygdala. Frontal cortex makes a scenario for it to match this danger signal that has come for no reason, because it's overactive. There's no reason for it. It creates a scenario and then it matches it to the danger. And you look at the verbiage of the scenario, the suggestion that the frontal cortex made for this danger signal, and you say, that's why the danger signal came. No, it's a half-ass backward. It came for no reason and it made up something for it. Not that what is made up for it is the reason for the danger to come in. And that bamboozles you, and you try to prove to yourself, prove to the brain, which is an organ. It's like they're trying to prove to your liver who you are. You know. So you have to understand that you're the intellect, you're the awareness. And again, as I always suggest, please, everyone, if you haven't watched this video, please do watch it with care. This is a video that I created for what's going on here. This is the video I created from using Dr. Egnar's video, elaborated on it, a little bit expanded information I added to it. It's a longer video, but it packs lots of information that I want you all watch this in order to understand the separation between brain and you, so you won't be bamboozled by the nonsense that the brain creates, which is its job to create stuff. Nirvana says, I'm 32, female. There we go. See, when I don't know if you're a man or woman, what your gender is, then my responses would not meet your questions. And it's not. So that's why I need to know that right off the bat. And Nirvana says, I'm 32, female in Melbourne, Australia. I've been in and on again, off again. I've been in an on again, off again relationship with this mammal. Mammal? For 8 years. What is it? A dog or a dolphin? Killer whale? Or is it a lion? What is it? Okay, I've been in a relationship with this mammal, she says. For 8 years. He used to always belittle everything I went through. When my father passed away, he told me I was being dramatic. Well, he's an asshole. My mom is terminally ill, and I'm her caregiver full time. And I have a son. He tells me I'm fat and lazy and can't get a job. Tell him to fuck off. And he knows I have to look after my mother, who's going to pass on soon. I have no family in Australia to help. He made me leave my friends, and he would hit me and choke me and tell me he never touched me and I'm dramatic. Okay, you need to move away from this guy. You need to end the relationship with this asshole. You got to get your friends back. I hope you're not um, in need of his financial support of any kind. And hopefully that is the case. And I hope you're not living with this guy. If it's off, on, and on, then that means you're not living with this guy. You focus on your mother and your child and tell this guy to fuck off and regain your freedom and your sanity. And you're not dramatic from what you've told me at all. And you stick with your duties and responsibilities and do them as best as you can. That's going to make you feel confident and make you feel a great person, as obviously you are. And no need to put up with that shit. Nirvana says, I call him a mammal. Dogs are loyal. He isn't that. Nor is he a man, but he lives on land and breeds air. Yeah, and you should be away from him because there are lots of mammals, but just because they're mammal, you're not supposed to be, in touch with them because they're not qualified enough to be near you. So these are all in your hands. You have the power. You do not need his affirmation. You do not need his validation at all. This man is a psychopath. He's a narcissist. He puts you down in order to cause himself to feel elevated in your eyes. They say, how can you have the tallest building in town? So there are two ways to have the tallest building in town. One is to destroy all other buildings, and yours looks tallest. And the other one is to build yours. And this guy doesn't have a talent to build his own building to a certain standards. He feels big by destroying other buildings. So he's chiseling out by making fun of you, telling you all these derogatory labels and whatnot, because he's incapable of to genuinely be a higher up person, be good, well-balanced person. So he takes advantage of putting you down to make himself feel good. You should not be there for him to have that opportunity. And if he ever does that again, you call the police. Simple. Call the police and tell him that this guy beats me. And that's the end of it. Kick him out. Don't see him again. Knowing the way that this guy is and you continue a relationship with the guy, it's on you. Everything else is on him. But you choosing to stick around, that's on you. So, respect yourself and move away. Don't allow him to come near you or your child. Just get rid of him. And attend to your duties. You will love yourself more. You will get used to it, even if you're used to this abuse. But, even a prisoner will find his or her jailer a good person because they're the ones who control the food and the liberties and this and that. So that doesn't mean they're a good person. That means they're just controlling you. So don't be controlled. And this whole damn world right now is trying to control us all. Resist and protect your freedom in all aspects of life. Nirvana says that makes sense. Thank you. I feel really low. No, you're not low. In fact, in my opinion, you're one of the highest grade of woman out there with all the efforts you make for your mom, and you have a child and whatever else that you're doing in life. So don't worry about what this idiot thinks. Focus on the actuality of your life and your duties and the services that you do for yourself, for your son, for your mom, and that's it. Rid yourself of this guy. It feels like I'll be in the hole forever, but thank you so much for taking the time to help. No, you wouldn't be in the hole if you're not financially uh, hanging on to this guy, which you shouldn't be. I hope you're not. Even if you are, just tell him to fuck off. Can't treat you like that. Aaron says, Marin, you missed my comment. Okay, Aaron, let's go back to yours. I don't know why today this screen is halfway. Let's see, what is that? Ah, there it is, fixed up. um, Aaron. Ah, Aaron says, Marin, I know you've talked about this in other videos, but my HOCD keeps getting to the point where my brain tells me to look at homosexual images so that once I do, it will go away. It's too annoying. I try to ignore it, but I think I give it too much attention that it doesn't go away. Well, because you're trying to respond to an accusation and a suggestion that the brain has made because you think the brain is higher up than you are and you need to prove to the brain who you are. You don't. It's like need to prove to your toe who you are or need to prove to your intestine who you are. But because brain gives you the capability of doing math and figuring out things, you think brain is intellect and brain is you, and you need to get affirmation of the brain in order to be sure who you are. In order to do that, you keep looking for assurances. So you keep looking at the homosexual pictures to see if you have any reactions. Am I really who I am? So the brain is going to be convinced now to see the reactions that I do or do not have. And all of that is nonsense. You need to understand how HOCD behaves, the HOCD brain, and the path it takes, and the behavior it does. And it should all be irrelevant because it's just a machine makes thoughts, and based on all these things that we talked about, amygdala, prefrontal cortex, caudate nucleus, striatum, basal ganglia, all these malfunctions in the signaling system, all these have a lot to do, everything to do with OCD and HOCD and OCD subsets. So don't be bamboozled trying to prove to something that is just as dumb as it comes. Brain is stupid. Brain has no intellect. Don't try to prove anything to it. You need to retrain and rewire the brain. You need to help the brain to come back to its balance rather than believing the bullshit that it puts out due to its malfunction. And you're kind of trying to convince a crazy person that what you're saying is got merits and it's logic, and what it's saying, it's a crazy person. You don't discuss things that are personal to you with a crazy person who has a different mentality and different understanding, different expectations of everything and nothing, because it has no real intellect working at that time. Now the brain is the same. It's not intellect. Don't try to logically intellectualize things and converse with it and convince it and bring evidence. Don't. You need to train it. It's an idiot that is gone rogue and malfunctioning, and you are becoming more idiot to follow it and try to prove it and convince it that it's wrong or right or whatever. Just don't. You got to retrain it. You got to rewire it by the way you react to the suggestions that it makes, so it understands that it's not meeting your values and shuts down, because your automatic shutdown lever, caudate nucleus in the striatum in basal ganglia, is out of work, is not working properly. So you need to help it to click back in to the groove and do its job, like the automatic gear shift of a car that is supposed to change gear at a certain speed and gear down and gear up and all that. Caudate nucleus is supposed to shut down intrusive thoughts and things that are not in line with your value. It doesn't do it now. And then the rest of it, the amygdala and overworked, overactive amygdala and so on, also has a lot to do with it. So you're supposed to let go trying to prove to the brain, let go trying to get assurances, let go to listening to what suggestion the brain makes. Just simply rewire and help the brain to come back to what's normal in your case for your gender. It has been programmed for you. Masood gives a thumbs up. I don't know what for, but thank you. I'll take it. Masood says, we projecting our images about others too much. It seems at least expired. Okay. Aaron says, I know who I am as a heterosexual and I am proud to be. I've got an amazing girlfriend who I'm soon to have my 1 year anniversary with, and I can't imagine my life without it. There we go. Mazakaral says, hey, Mehran, 34 male Melbourne. I feel like I'm moving forward slowly, but I have these lingering thoughts of how she is in life, and I miss her. It gets to a point where I feel like I need to call her. You don't. You're just horny. Why don't you understand this? We think about sex every few seconds, whether it's 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, depending how busy you are with things that you do in life. But usually, when we are not preoccupied with things that we want to accomplish, we'd be thinking about sex. And every time you think about sex, the most recent girlfriend or serious experience, comes to mind. And that happens to be your ex-girlfriend. But that doesn't mean you really want her. It's just that because you keep about thinking sex, and the most recent relationship is the one that comes to your mind, and you think that's the one I'm missing. No, if you had the chance and you had met another awesome looking girlfriend or girl, you wouldn't be thinking about her. You wouldn't be missing her because you had someone that fulfills your criteria and your urges and your need of companionship and friendship, to appreciate a woman. And that's what your buildup is. So therefore, that is really what's happening, rather than it's her that I miss. No, you miss that intimacy. You miss that desire for pleasure with women. You miss that interaction with women. And because there's nothing else, and since you always think about sex, which we all do, naturally the most recent relationship will come to your mind. And she is the one, happens to be the most recent one. And so you think, oh, that's the one I'm missing. I'm missing her. You're not missing her. You're missing the concept of being with a woman. So you got to educate yourself on that. Otherwise, but just because you miss her, that means what? If she has left and you guys broke up, why would you ever miss someone who's left you? Have respect for yourself. Grow a pair. I don't care what you say. Grow a pair or a couple pairs. In your case, you might need a couple extra ones. How can I stop that? Understand what it is, then you'll stop it, because it's not force majeure. It's not something that you have to comply with. No, it's something that you're not noticing what it is. What it is not her, because logically, nobody misses someone who has mistreated him, or someone who has left him, or someone for whatever reason says, I don't want to be with you. So fuck that. You go for a woman who wants to be with you. So she is disqualified for that very one reason on its own, let alone anything else that was going wrong with you guys. You see, Aaron says the best thing about her is that she understands my HOCD. I always feel stupid every time I listen to it because I know it's, yeah, but that's what HOCD is. So don't think there's any message there. It's just the malfunction that is creating all these thought processes. You got to educate yourself about it rather than wondering what it means, what it says, why is it here? Because there is a fucking malfunction. It's got nothing to do with you. Don't get me to get the ugly stick. I want to go work out. Don't piss me off. So it's 1 hour, guys. I think that's time for me to wrap it up. We answered all the questions. There are no more here. Thank God. So it's time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. Let's have a sip of tea. I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon. But we too, like the iceberg, have 1,000 times bigger powers that is not visible, and we must. Why? Is it something we're rambling on and I expect you to accept it? Or is there actually another power within us? Would you come and help me out? Okay. What I want you to do is put your hands underneath my arms and just lift me up. There we go. Okay, now, that's my physical part, right? Same thing, again, with that. Just want to see if there's any difference. Go ahead. Now, go ahead. Now, this, go ahead, when you're ready.
Go ahead.
So you see, this is different than what he was doing, and I'm not really doing anything. You convinced?
Yeah.
So are you guys convinced that there is something other than, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.